Good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another video. And as you see, I'm back down in my ever-growing library. I mean, this is like literally getting out of hand. So, yeah. Today I'm going to bring you my October book haul. And before I get started, I want to clear something up. I made a very drastic decision. I decided to cancel my Book of the Month subscription because all that, it's just too much. So, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm probably not going to do as many book hauls as I used to do. So, they'll probably be like few and in between. But anyway, let's get started with my Amazon pickups. I also want to show off some pretty cool bookmarks that I got. That is an It bookmark. That's a Shining bookmark. See that? Red room. And then I got an Exorcist bookmark. So this set was only like 12 bucks, and I thought it would be pretty cool to have. So these are ready to be in any book that I pick because I know that I can use them. Okay, now on to the books. The first book I want to show off is Video Night by Adam Caesar. And I read this like 2 years ago on Audible. I really enjoyed it. So I've always wanted to get the physical copy. But this is kind of like an alien invasion horror where like these two kids host like a video night, and they try to like scarf like the popular kids, but then aliens start to arrive and take over the town. This was a really, really fun book, and I really want to reread it soon. And it's not that huge. That was Video Night by Adam Caesar. The next two I want to show off are novellas, and these are two very different novellas because one is like extreme horror, and one is kind of like a Mothman retelling. But let's start off with Below by Laurel Hightower, and this is a very, very short novella. I've heard a lot of people that I follow read this and they really enjoyed it. So this is about like a woman who gets lost on like a lonely road at night, and she meets this dude and he offers to drive her, but they are in pursuit of a Mothman-like creature. So definitely want to read this. I heard it's like really, really good. And that is Below by Laurel Hightower. That next book I want to show off is Gone to See the Riverman by Christopher Triana. This is definitely an example of extreme horror because it's about like this woman who's obsessed with like this serial killer, and she wants to do anything she can to like obey him. So she has to like do this task to like see the Riverman. And I heard that this book is like really, really messed up. So this will be my first foray into extreme horror. That was Gone to See the Riverman. Those are the three books I got from Amazon. And now I'm left with this moderate pile of Barnes and Noble. So let's get started with one of the books I'm reading right now, but this is for class. That is 1984 by George Orwell. And I'm like literally as far as chapter 7 and part 1. And this is written in like 1946. And this is about like a dystopian London where everybody is being monitored by the thought police and Big Brother. So, very popular sci-fi novel. And I did listen to this on audio last year, but I've never read it physically. And I'm definitely been looking forward to it. That was 1984 by George Orwell. Next book. It's going to be The WASP Factory by Ian Banks. And I picked this one up yesterday. This is one of the 5 books I picked up yesterday. But I'm going to go ahead and read the back for you. Meet Frank Caldham, just 16 and unconventional to say the least. 2 years after I killed Blythe, I murdered my young brother Paul for quite different and more fundamental reasons than I disposed of Blythe. And then a year after that I did for my young cousin Esmeralda, more or less on a whim. That's my score to date, 3. I haven't killed anybody for years and don't intend to ever again. That's just a stage I was going through. This sounds pretty messed up too, so I definitely got a couple of messed up books on this haul. So it sounds like a crazy kid who just enjoys murder. That was The WASP Factory. And there's actually like a few graphics that I saw in here too. So right there at every chapter break. And it's not that big of a book either, so I might be in a mood to like read some of these soon. Moving on. Next book. It's going to be another very popular, disturbing book. That is Tender as the Flesh by Augustina Bastarrica. And I think she is Argentinian. So this is a dystopian horror novel that is set in the near future where there is basically like no meat supply and the only means of survival is human flesh. So this is going to be a really messed up book too, and I definitely like that cover. So this is kind of like a satire of like consumerism and like meat packing. So it almost kind of like reminded me of like a modern day retelling of The Jungle, but with like a horror twist. So that was Tender as the Flesh. Moving right along, we have The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. And this is a new young adult horror novel. And what got me is that this is like a retelling of Carrie. So basically it's about like this girl who is like biracial, and there was this horrific stunt pulled on like social media, and she gets her revenge. So I was definitely interested in this novel, and I definitely want to read it soon. because, I mean, it should be really easy to get through. I mean, it is like over 400 pages, but that was The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. And not to mention, this cover is really, really sick too. Moving right along, I have What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. Now, I've heard of this book for months now. This is a retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher, which is Edgar Allan Poe's, well, one of Edgar Allan Poe's famous works. So, I've never read the story. I actually was going to for my intro to fiction class, but that got changed. But what I understand about the story is that it's about this man who goes to the Usher residence, and he knows this guy who lives with his sister, but his sister passes away suddenly. Turns out, as you go throughout the story, the sister does not die. She was very close to death. She resurrects and scares her brother to death, killing him. I don't know how close this is going to be to that story, but this one sounds pretty interesting. That was What Moves the Dead. Not to mention another very short one. Next, that short of a book, but this is a novella collection. This is Ghost Written by Ronald Malfi, and they have 4 stories on here, and I'm just going to read the back. It says, from the best-selling author of Come With Me, 4 standalone horror novellas set in a shared universe. A cursed novel drives people to their deaths in the skin of her teeth. A delivery job turns deadly in the Dark Brothers' last ride. This book belongs to Olu, sees a child wielding dangerous control over an unusual pop-up book. And a choose-your-own adventure game spirals into an uncanny reality in the story. So, this one sounds really, really fun, and I think I will get to it soon. Ghost Written by Ronald Malfi. Moving right along, I have The Silence of the Lambs, the 25th Anniversary Edition by Thomas Harris. And this was definitely an impulse buy. It's based off of the famous 90s horror film where there's a new FBI profiler by the name of Clarice Starling who is on the hunt for Buffalo Bill. But she has to have help from Hannibal Lecter, which is an even more deranged serial killer. So, everybody knows this story. I've never read the book, but I've actually seen the movie like last year for the very first time. And I really want to read this like whenever. But that was The Silence of the Lambs. Got a few more here, so let's keep trucking along. Next, it's not exactly a horror novel, but this is like a crime thriller. The Drop by Dennis Lehane, and I'm going to go ahead and read the back for you. Set in Boston's underworld, New York Times bestselling author Dennis Lehane's The Drop is a crime story, a love story, and ultimately a journey of faith. 2 days after Christmas, Bob Saganowski, A lonely bartender looking for a reason to live rescues an abused and abandoned pit bull puppy from a trash can and meets a damaged woman named Nadia Dunn looking for something to believe in. As their relationship grows, they cross paths with the Chechen mafia, who have taken over his cousin's Marv's bar and use it as a money drop. Marv himself, who has grown dangerously desperate with age and thwarted hopes. Two hapless, stick-up artists who make the mistake of robbing the bar, a very curious cop and the original owner of the puppy, a psychotic named Eric Deeds who wants his dog back. So this one sounds pretty fun. It's definitely going to be multiple POVs. One of his shorter novels, and that was The Drop by Dennis Lehane. Next, it's going to be a hard case crime thriller called 5 Decembers by James Kestrel. And I basically got this for like the cover alone. This is set during the events of Pearl Harbor, and it's about like this detective who witnesses Pearl Harbor. So this one sounds really, really good. It's actually pretty thick. I mean, this might be like the longest hard case crime book I have. Because, I mean, the other three I have are by Stephen King, but this one's a relatively brand new one. And that was 5 Decembers. 4 more books here. That next one is Such Sharp Teeth, a werewolf novel by Rachel Harrison. This is her new novel, of course, and it's basically about it's about this woman who like works in Hollywood, and she might be afraid she might be turned into a werewolf. So this one sounds awesome. The only like werewolf book I've ever read was Cycle of the Werewolf. I'm willing to give a full-length novel a try. Such Sharp Teeth. Oops. It never stops. Next up, Baby Teeth by Zoe Stage. And the thing that sold me was we needed to talk about Kevin meets Gone Girl meets the Yeoman. And that's a quote that was said by Entertainment Weekly. And this follows like a mother-daughter where the daughter is like psychotic. This is definitely sounding very fun to me. I hope. That was Baby Teeth. 2 more books. My last new release is going to be Daphne by Josh Mallerman. And this was released at the end of September. So it's one of the first books I got this month. And this is about like a basketball team who is haunted by like a murdered girl. This one definitely sounds awesome. And it's not that long. So I'm hoping to like get to it soon. So that was Daphne by Josh Mallerman. And finally, A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. This is his take on The Exorcist. So this is about like a woman who is being plagued by like multiple spirits, but her family thinks that she's crazy and she goes to like an institution. I've been wanting to read this for so long, just never got a chance to haul it, but there it is. A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. And that is the end of my October book haul. It was quite a bit, and yeah. So I'll have one more video to film, and that'll be my Halloween ranking on Halloween. So look forward to that. And I'll also bring you my movies I watched in October. I'll probably do that the day after Halloween. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. I'll see you soon. Adios. Peace.